welcome to Craft Addict K. I'm Carla. Usually we have Sam with us, my daughter, but she is diamond painting. And I have gotten a lot of questions regarding my floss storage system, and I just thought this would be a good time to review. About a year ago, I posted my floss storage system, and how I was doing it was with these totes. And in the totes, I showed, and I'm going to show you again, I would put like little, you can see I've depleted some of mine, these cards, and I would punch holes and put little rings on it, and I'd hang my floss off of it. Sometimes I have them in little floss away tux bags, and I had a whole set of DMC floss, and this is how I stored my DMC floss. Over time, I've come up with another similar, a little bit pricier, but a little bit less cumbersome, I guess, for me. So I'm not going to get into a lot of detail regarding this, so you can see I've really worked down on some of these. How I did this, because I do have a video, and I will put it in the description box below how I did this, if this is your option and what you'd like to do. It worked great for me, but I decided to do something a little bit different. But I still use this. You're going to see, like, here is a purple. I must have been doing a project at one point in time, and I have a lot of extras of the same purple. I have it on a ring on here. This is 553, common color for purple. I use this tote with all my DMC numbers that I made originally with the rings, and I put full skeins on here. These are my stash, for lack of a better word, my stash I go back to. So if I run out of floss on my active set, this is where I come first before I would go to my Michael's or Joann's or what have you to order more floss. I would look here. I also, because I have kits, you can see behind me, lots of projects in the works. Some of them have flosses on floss drops. And so when I come across those, if I finish the project and I still have floss left on the floss drops, I will put the floss drops on here as well, because it's something I can go and grab the next time. So you can see this one had like a strand of 603, and it's on here. So this is my stash of floss. It takes up less space. I put a lid on it. It sits back in my closet, back there, and it's out of the way. Out of sight, out of the way. What I have grown into has been an active floss set. So I'm going to set this down so I can show that to you. And my active set is, here's an example, is another tote. But inside of this tote is what I found are called Annie's Keepers. And I will put a link below. And what Annie's and this is my CXC floss, by the way. I have a tote for DMC. I have a tote for CXC that I use for my floss. I do prefer DMC, but I do have projects that I'm working on with CXC as well. And this is what I've done. And I'm going to try and get you close here. So I'll show you how it comes, but here is all of my numbers across. My floss is already cut, so I can take one strand off, or a little, if I'm just going to put it on a floss card, I can. But these are cut the same length, and I use this, and I have this sitting beside my stitchy spot. So I have a full set in my tote sitting beside my stitchy spot, so that if I decide that I'm going to work on this project, I can go, it's in numerical order, so I can go right to the one that I need, take my little needle, pull out my single thread, and I can put it right back in. If I have a little piece left over, which you might find some in my stash, if I looked, here's one. It's not a very good color to show you, but if I have a little piece left over, I just kind of hook it on the side, if you can see that. So this is why I like Annie's Keepers. Originally, why I got them was because I could just decide that I want to take this one out. I don't have to mess with anything. I don't have to unhook any loops. It's got a hole on the top and on the bottom. So the hole on the top I can put on a ring and put this with my project. And I did try that for a little bit, but then I decided when I have taken it out of here and put it in my project, now I don't have it here in my master set that I'm sitting here stitching with on my bigger projects. And if you follow me on Flosstube, you will know that I do a lot of big projects. I do a lot of full coverage projects. So having one stuck in one of these project bags over here does not help me to get the project done. So what I started doing, rather, if I'm going to have a travel project, a smaller project, I might pull a couple of lengths of thread and put it on the thread drops. And I put that in my project bag to use while I still maintain a full floss at my stitching spot site. Hopefully that makes sense. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about Annie's Keepers very quickly and how they come. And I'm going to set that over to the side. That's a full set. So how Annie's Keepers comes is you can order different kinds. I'll be honest, I have the kind that hang on the file. So they have hooks on the side. And that's what hangs on your file. If you can see the little hooks, that's what it goes on. It's a file length. So you can get these. You can get a set, like a starter set. They also sell some, and I warn you, they sell some that don't have the hooks, and it's called a project. Oh, the word's escaping me. It has to do with it being just like for the project, and it's a rod without the hooks on the end. So you can still use your little doodads, for lack of a better word. You can still use your thread drop on those as well. They're interchangeable. But I like them on here. So there's a little, I'm trying to see if I can, trying to get in here. So you can see there's two holes, so top hole, bottom hole. There's a little line in between on the top end. That line goes, there's a little track. So you can slide it in here into that track. And then I can pull on it. It's not going anywhere. If I want to take it out, if I give it just a little twist this way, it comes out freely. If I want to put it back in, you just got to kind of, when there's other ones in, it's a lot easier to do this. When you have other ones in, it's easier to get it in around. But to put it back in, it goes back in the same way it comes out. It's just not as easy when there's only one, because this track is, there you can see the track on it. And you can see the little track that way. So I'm trying to kind of give you a bird's eye view, if you will. So I have a bag of these, and they also come with the little round stickers so you can put your number on. They come with, I think this tag here has a long, yeah, this is like a long sticker. If at one point I was putting it, I'll show you here. I was putting it across the top of the bar. There's a, there's a long sticker here. You can see it's kind of folded over. At one point I was writing the project names and kind of putting it for each project. And then I was like, this is getting too expensive. I need to prioritize. And that's whenever I decided to do the one set beside my stitchy spot. And I switch between bins depending on what project I'm working on or what type of floss I have. So I got really good at doing it there. So that has worked really well for me, and I've been trialing it before I brought it out to the rest of you guys to make sure it's something that I foresee that I would continue. And I think I will be continuing it because it's been very helpful for me. I can hear some of you that do big projects thinking, oh, Carla, what are you doing? Because dye lot colors change. And that's true, and I know it's a chance I'm taking. But typically, if I start a project, I purchase the floss for that project, and I may keep it in a bag with that project's name on it near where my backup stash is. So if I need something for that specific project, I'm going to go to that bag and pull it out because I know that I bought those at the same time, and I don't have to worry about dye lot changes. And I haven't come across any problems, but I haven't been stitching long. So one of the things that I also realized whenever I put my DMC kit together, which this is the DMC, you'll notice I was not as careful with this one because all my lengths are different lengths. of floss, and I'm not liking that. And a friend of mine showed me a new person to me on Instagram, and I will put his link as well down below, and he makes a thread winder, and that's what this is. It's got curves on each end. This is an 18-inch. It'll make my flosses 18-inch. He also makes one that's 36-inch. It's longer for those of you that like to double up. I do a lot of full coverage, so for me, the one strand, I'm okay. If I'm doing 2 strands, I'm going to pull 2 strands, and I'm not going to use the loop method, because usually I'm stitching with 1 strand of thread. So I ordered one of these, and how this works, and I'm going to show you that too really quickly. Since we're talking floss, and I was trying to make this a quick video, how this works is you take your floss, and this is number 927, and I'm saying that because if I forget where I need to put it, I will have it recorded. And you start about halfway, and you put that thread halfway, and then you just wind it. Just wind it, wind it, wind it, and it helps to keep you from getting knots. It helps to keep your threads in uniform length, and typically, of course, I said knots. Now I'm going to make myself a knot. There we go. Came back out. Typically, they meet up fairly close to the start where you started at. I mean, less than an inch difference there. This down here is where I started. This is where I finished. So, like, you're talking about that much space difference. That's not much space difference. Then all you do is, and I'm grabbing some scissors here, is you take your scissors, cut it, and now it can go on your thread. It's all uniform length, okay? Some people measure wrist to elbow. There you go. It's uniform length. You can put it on a thread drop. You can put it on your Annie's Keepers if that's what your choice is. And it's just as simple as folding it in half, putting it through that hole, then taking and grabbing it and bringing it through so it loops it through. And then you have your thread on your floss like this. So that is, I think it's Mr. I will put it down below because I didn't write it down. And I'll put his name and I'll put a link. So lately I've been contemplating, now that I have I feel like a good system for my DMC, for my CXC, and that normal floss, how do I do my specialty floss? And I did start looking, seeing what other people were doing. I've debated on doing, I see some people do floss away bags, alphabetical order for their fancy floss. I did see a video, and I will link her as well below because I didn't bring my notes in here when I decided to do this video tonight. But I went and I got some containers from Joann Fabrics, and they were on sale. I think I got them for $4. I stacked them up. I think they came 3 or 4 to a pack. Basically, this is my specialty floss. This is it. This is what I have. I was in a floss group for Victoria Motto floss. And I've just picked up on different projects along the way, and I put them in here by color. And I took my little label maker and put the different colors and tried to make them colors of the rainbow, you know. I like this because it makes me venture more into color conversion and looking for different colors. The drawback to this is if I have a pattern that's asking for specific specialty floss colors by name, I need to go through and search and pull it out by name. That's great if I'm looking at, and it has 2 snaps, snap here, a snap in the back, and you can take it, pop it off, you can see. So that's great if I'm in here looking for, well, of course I pull limited edition, Caramel by Classic Colorworks. That's great. It's probably here in my creamy colors. But if I'm pulling, and I'm going to use this red as an example, now I have a lot more different reds that I have to go through and figure out. And I have a lot more Victoria Motto in here. Victoria Motto. All the different shades of red I tried to put in here, and on top of it I have pink, so if there's a version and then we roll into purples, just my brain and how it organized. But I don't know if I like this or not. It is nice. Again, like I said, it helps me for color conversion. And I've used it in that respect, and it's been nice that, oh, I want a purple. Let me go look at my purples and change some things out on patterns. It's nice because it doesn't take up a lot of space. I can put it on actually, I have it on right beside my printer in my stitching room. I have it beside my printer because it's light and it can sit right on top of it and hasn't reached the ceiling yet. So it is nice. I have some silks down here. I don't have a lot of silks. I just don't have a lot of silks. These were some dinky dyes, so there we go. My silks are not runneth full, but some variegated DMC that I wasn't sure how I wanted to do with the variegated floss, so I put that down there. So that's how I store my specialty flosses, if that's what you want to call them. My variegated hand-dyed flosses. So if they're not in a project, they're in here. So I don't know if this is going to be my be-all end-all for specialty flosses, but it definitely is workable for me right now. I've really debated on doing it in alphabetical order and putting the floss away bags because I think that would be easier to find the color of choice. I just don't know if I have the storage to do that. And so this was a nice option. And this was not my idea. I actually saw this on a YouTube, and I will link her below. Her name and who I saw it. I'll try and put it on here because I think it was really good, and she talks about having limited space to store her flosses, and this was how she stored her floss, and I thought it was a great idea. So I hope that helps to answer some of your questions about floss storage, Annie's keepers, what I do in my stitchy spot, and I hope you'll find it useful for your stitchy spot and your organization. So everybody, have a great day. Happy stitching. Bye.